Good evening. Welcome to Progressive Soup. My name is David Stevenson. Tonight with us we have Emily Volpentesta as co-host and Bob Brought Jr., who's a videographer who does a lot of off-site video. That's to say he doesn't do it here in the Comcast studio. He takes his camera on the road.
So, tell me, Bob, as a videographer, what are your favorite things to video?
I do anything that comes up, any local happenings, sports. We do the veterans veterans when they had the veterans things in Danbury. We also do all the Danbury Westerners events.
What kind of veterans? What kind of veterans?
Well, the veterans, we have all the veteran, happenings. I mean, for Veterans Day, anything that comes up in the area for that type of stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was a nice ceremony last year. I saw you there. And,
at WestCon.
WestCon, yeah, it was quite a nice ceremony.
So you're involved a lot with WestCon?
Yeah, I used to work at WestCon.
Oh, okay.
I worked there I worked for the state for 20 years, so a long time, worker. I was a maintenance supervisor at WestCon, so.
So you made a lot of friends along the way and a lot of acquaintances that you've had an opportunity to go back and visit with in a totally different capacity.
Oh yeah, throughout the years there has been a lot of different. I've attended a lot of stuff at WestCon. Different happenings throughout the course of the last 20 years, 25 years.
Wow. So what's your most interesting story that you have as a videographer?
As a videographer? Well, let's see. Where to start?
I'm sure you have many, yeah. All right, let's start with one.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I got to interview SoCal Val from TNA Wrestling.
And this is this is the World Wrestling Federation.
Yes.
SoCal Val.
She's she's a diva. We'll put it that way. And that was an interesting one. Matter of fact, I was doing a collectible show, and she just happened to be there, and I had my camera in the car, so I just asked her if you like to do an interview. She said sure, let's do it.
What kind of questions do you ask a wrestler?
Like, is everything fake?
And the answer was?
No, everything is staged. And they have to go to school literally to know how to do everything, all the falls, all the, everything like that. It's not, it's still like, it's to a certain extent it's acting, but you still have to be, you still also gotta know how to go through all the moves too.
So they're almost a combination of actor and stunt double at the same time? Yeah,
there is constantly there, because you see it on TV. Some of that does look real, but like when they're hitting them with a chair, the chair's not really that hard.
Right.
I can imagine.
But when they just go off the ropes, off the top ropes, sometimes they can get hurt very, very badly. I was at a couple of events when I'm talking back, 25 years ago, like when Haystack Calhoun's used to jump off the top rope, and he weighed like 300 and some pounds.
Wow.
So and we used to land there. So there was a lot of things that happen with that.
Right.
Are the mats specially prepared in wrestling? You mentioned the chair, that the chair might not be exactly up to standard for a regular chair.
But there is, there's some types of, the mats. Everything has to be, made a certain way. Everything has to be,
regulation. Yeah.
And of course, you'll see I've been at some pre-shows, and you see all the wrestlers putting the place together, and they go out there and try and have one big wrestling match. Next thing you know, they're out in the bars having a good time together. So it could be either way.
So you mentioned you work with the Westerners.
Yes, the Danbury Westerners.
Okay, and you mentioned that they're Division 1 and 3.
They're anywhere from Division 1 to Division 3 players.
Okay.
It's an all-bat league. It's the New England Collegiate Baseball League. There's 12 teams in the league. Danbury's been around for 16 years. It'll be 16 years this year.
Okay.
And our players come from all over the country.
Wow.
You know, but they're basically they play from their freshman to their junior year with us, and then they go on to like the Cape Cod League or the Atlantic League or whatever from there.
So they're taking that step upward towards what everyone's dream is, a major league.
Yes.
Huh. Has anyone ever gone on to the major leagues?
We had one last year. A kid that was signed right at camp, out of our camp. He went to from the Mariners.
Wow.
2 days before the end of the season.
Huh.
And our season runs from June until the end of July, from beginning of June to the end of July.
Right.
We play 42 games in 60 days. So that's a lot of baseball.
Yeah.
We have teams that go from Connecticut all the way up to Maine, Vermont, Rhode Island.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
What are some of the dramatic things? I know you can capture on video. You can capture, just the nuts and bolts of baseball and the game as it plays itself out. But how do you capture the emotional things that players go through, the things that show their humanity?
I mean, like when they're going, they're jumping for a ball in the middle into the stands, or they accidentally explode on when they're on base and they get picked off or something like that.
Yeah, and how they react, and how people around them react. I
mean, there's a lot of places where they've had times, and nobody's perfect, and they start, and during a game anything can happen.
It's an amazing game.
I mean, we've had times last year when a couple of our coaches got kicked out because they got a little hot with the umpires.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. In college, I'd studied broadcasting, and they say in journalism, you want to capture, if it bleeds, it leads, or you want to capture people in their most emotionally moments because that gets the empathy of, the viewer. Right. I mean, if you're with your video camera, I mean, you can capture some pretty personal moments.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you see like last year we had a rain delay game. And we had guys out there, actually playing out there on the field, and it's pouring rain out there. They're out there sliding across the stuff,
right?
The little kid inside the adult baseball player.
Because you're waiting for a 2-hour rain delay, so you got to do something, So the guys would just, sometimes would lose it. So
wow, huh? So you get to
I've gotten to watch some of that,
Huh.
But really, though, last year's team, we had a really good team last year. The guys had a great chemistry last year, and they played as a team. I mean, we came in, we played a playoff game for 4th place at the last game, near the last game of the season, and we lost 6-3. So, but that was a heartbreaker. But still, all the guys were still all together. The team was really, that close together,
Wow.
And I've gone on the bus trips, and the bus trips are great. Some of these guys we have a few goofs, but but that's that's part of and some of the bus trips can be long too. Some of the bus trips can be like 6 hours long.
What are those like? What goes on a bus trip that's that long?
Well, it's just that you just constantly, you sleep a lot. I mean, this movie, you're watching movies on baseball or whatever on the bus trip up, and sometimes it can be, then you hear stories from different guys' hometowns, and you hear, and it can get into a lot of stuff.
You can learn a lot about people when you're stuck with them in the bus for 6 hours, and you can't sleep and they can't sleep because of the movement of the bus. You learn a lot.
Oh yeah, you learn a lot from each individual, which is fun.
Interesting. So what's your favorite part of being a videographer?
Oh, just listen to all the different stories, listen to different, because I've done video of so many things in the last probably 20 years. It's, from anything from baseball to, I've also done, I used to do, I still do, the stuff for things about Danbury Fair and at the race arena and stuff. So that to me is more fun than anything else.
Huh.
Because you still see the drivers there as they were from, because I remember going to races as a kid, and the same thing with the fair, and that was our, I still say that our Danbury Fair was better than Disneyland.
You've talked so much about the Danbury Fair and the marvelous memories about it, and not just the Danbury Fair, but the racetrack.
Yeah.
Tell our audience some of the things about that really strike an emotional chord in you about those things.
Well, the one thing about the racing at the fair was that it was a quarter mile. It was like a third-mile track, and the guys would, say if a guy's car broke down, during the race, right? Guys would come together and they would help each other build, go out and take an engine out of somebody else's pit or something, and they would put the car back together just to get them back out on the track.
That camaraderie.
Yeah, there was a lot of good, I mean, there was always, battles during the race, but that's part of the course,
Yeah. And the Danbury Fair, what about the Danbury Fair? Because a lot of people have lost sight of what was actually there.
That will actually, next year it'll be 30 years that the fair has been gone.
Yeah, how does it make you feel now that the mall's there?
Sad.
Yeah.
I would rather see the fair back, because that was, like I said, that was part of our, that we really had a lot going on when we had the fair. I mean, the fair only lasted for 10 days, but still, for 10 days you had a lot of people came to Danbury. The last Danbury Fair in '81, there was for that week, I think it was over 70 or 80,000 people came through town. And how many local businesses, and the hotels and everything benefited from that.
Exactly. It benefits the local community.
Oh yeah, and of course we had of course Main Street was a thriving Main Street then too.
Yeah.
Not like it is today. I mean, we had Woolworths, we had McCory's, we had Kresge's, we had the
old Sears store there.
Yeah, Penny's. Everything was on Main Street.
Feinson's.
Yeah. Well, I spent a lot of money in Feinson's.
I didn't have any money back then, so I didn't spend much money back then there. No. They had some good suits, though.
Oh yes, yeah. They have Joel and Bob are great guys. They're part of the. They work at the for the Danbury Library when they have the Danbury Library sales and stuff.
Yep.
So I'm a constant finder of them things too. Yeah. I'm always buying books. I rather read more than I like than watch it than read stuff on the computer.
Right. Yeah.
There's the history in there is much better than it is than you can find on a computer screen sometimes.
No.
That was one of the things we had Ben Roberts on the previous show, but he does a Mocha Coffee House in Newtown, and one of the subjects we talked about last Monday night was books and how the power of books and how it's so much stronger than any other medium. That the book demands that you that you fill in the blanks, that you paint the pictures, that you do all the things that are done for you in other medium, computer, movies, or anything.
Right, because a book, you can read more in a book, like on a book. For example, like a movie. There's a lot of stuff in it that's in a book that's different than the original movie will ever be, produced. And there's I've read, I particularly read a lot of science fiction, so
and a lot of people don't read. It's true, and we're such a visual society now.
The kids today don't read like they did back when I was young, because we literally had to read a book every summer. And then you had to make a report of it, at the when school restarted again.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite authors that frightens the hell out of me was Dean Koontz.
Oh.
And they've tried to make Dean Koontz books into movies, and they're always titanic failures.
Oh yeah.
Because Dean Koontz is all about character development.
Right.
And he very clearly delineates between the good guys and the bad guys, and he goes into great detail on what's going on inside the hearts and the minds of both the good characters and the bad characters in his novels. And you just can't have that in a movie. Movies are geared toward action,
right?
And the action part of the book just doesn't play out.
It just never comes to light as it does in the movie, Because like they say, everything in Hollywood, that's what it is. They make it look too more dramatic than what it really, sometimes can be,
It's interesting talking about the fair. I mean, I talked to people who grew up going to the fair, and they said it was such a part of the culture in this area. Kids would take the day off from school, they'd go to the fair, parents would let them go by themselves. You wouldn't think of parents letting their kids go to a fair by themselves.
Well, every Friday, the school system would give the kids a ticket to, that was Danbury Day, and every kid in Danbury got a free pass. To go to the fair, and us kids lived for that.
Well, I remember growing up, just going to the St. Marie's Carnival, and now it's moved, and the CVS went up, and it's so sad. I still remember going downtown, parking behind my dad's office, and going to the carnival, and then when it's gone, it's just it's no longer, and you lose what was what we really had, and that was a great thing for us, I mean, there was some great exhibits there. There was I used to go. My uncle played steel guitar. Yeah, and he played for Carroll Chase at the fair. So a couple of times he played over there, and I've watched numerous acts from over the years who were there. Saw a lot of dignitaries over the years. Pat Nixon was there. I seen. I seen Governor's Day. We used to go. You see every governor that's ever been in the air. Well, that I can remember in the last over 30-some years. Well, so I'm 47, so 67. I would say I can remember from 67 on to 81. So.
That's still a large number of governors. Grasso amongst them, of course. Now, away from the sad reminiscing about the good old days, let's go to the sad reminiscing of what takes place. Now, you've seen the locker room. We all know that in the winner's locker room after a game, you have the traditional, the popping of the cork, and everybody is, cracking jokes, and everybody is shaking hands and happy. What happens in the loser's locker room after?
In the loser's locker room, you get all your gear together and you go home.
So there's no traditional
pep talk.
Pep talks.
Well, there is. There's like, guys, we did a great job, but that's it. Okay. And of course, I've not only videotaped the Danbury Westerns, but I also have done the Mad Hatters, and there was. I mean, they had a good. Run for a whole year, So did when the Trashers were here.
The hockey team,
hockey team.
Yes. And now, of course, we got the new team coming in November, the Danbury Whalers. So
it's a little bit more interesting name than the Trashers.
Well,
Trashers sounds so hockey-like.
I know.
Yeah. Well, the Trashers were here for 2 years, and they won the championship. So that was in the UHL. So, and now this new league is already it's up to 5 teams now. So, but the only bad part is most of the teams are, I would say, at least 3 hours to 6 hours away. They're all in the upstate, long rides on a bus. Yeah, I mean upstate New York, and we even have one team in Canada, Ottawa, Canada.
Come down to Connecticut.
Where's Ottawa relative to where is that above the border? Is that Detroit maybe?
Let's see. I think it's 6. I think it's about 6 hours away. So
it's going to be in the northeastern part of the United States, or the southeastern part of Canada. Huh. I can't think of which. I can't visualize where that is. I know we know where Montreal is. I know where Toronto, which is right above Detroit. So Ottawa's got to be somewhere kind of in the middle, maybe across from Buffalo, maybe.
I think if you go up past. I think if you go up toward 1,000, I think it's up when you go past 1,000 Island. It's up in that area. It's just across the border from there. So. Yeah, it's probably, because I know you have to go up through Syracuse and up to that area.
What do hockey players talk about? What hockey players talk about on the bus? Does that vary at all from what baseball players talk about on the bus?
It's about the same, and the guys, like the Mad Hatters, they were anywhere from, I would say, age-wise, in their mid-20s all the way up into their late 30s,
So the younger ones, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that when you video, do you video strictly the game, or do you do candid personal stuff as well?
I've done you know, play-by-plays and stuff. Okay. And of course, then we had the biggest thing that happened was in Danbury. It was like the third night of the Mad Hatters. We had an all-out brawl.
Whoa! On the bus?
No, this was at,
in the game.
It was here in Danbury. They were playing the Brooklyn Aces, and it was near the end. It was getting close near the end of the game. It was probably about 5 or 6 minutes left in the game, and one of the players got checked into our bench, and they started beating the crap out of him.
Well, sounds like a hockey game to me.
But then the game just started escalating, and everybody except for the two goalies literally got into a all-out brawl. So I mean, the umpire,
too bad. The goalies had the biggest sticks.
Yeah, well, the umpires couldn't break all that up. They were trying, you know, and then of course it just escalated into where the two managers, two coaches went at it, and then everything just kept on going. And it took it lasted for like about almost 18 minutes.
Wow. Any fans get involved?
No, we couldn't. No, because you know you're between the glass and everything. But still, you know, and that happened on a Saturday night. I had my show on Tuesday night, and it was up on YouTube the next day.
Of course, like you said, exactly like you said.
Yeah.
The TV audience likes the rowdiness.
Oh yes. Yeah. Well, we have what's called Section 102 in our and they really they'll get on the opposing players like really big. So,
in what way?
Oh, we get the name calling. You know, we get a lot of you know, rowdiness. It's just, I mean, everybody. Heckles. You know, the stuff. You know, but that's part of hockey. You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Have you ever filmed a game? Any kind of game where there's always, you know, one player that's responsible for winning or losing, like catching the ball or not catching the ball, or
I have. I've videotaped a few games. Actually, I did some not baseball but softball. That's how I started in videography. I started taping my buddies' softball games.
Right.
And there's been games where you know guys have you know had an out at home, and was a game-winning out, or we've had a game-winning walk-off home run, you know, and that's just you know, that can go, you know, either way, you know, and I've had a couple games where guys have gotten into fights.
You have gotten into fights?
No, not me, but
he just starts it, then he gets out of the way.
Yeah, more to video, right? No.
Yeah. Hey, you know, this game's a little boring. Let me throw something at one of the players and say the other player.
I was videotaping one game, and the guy, the opposing team got mad because you know they were losing so bad. They threw a bat at me.
Wow.
well.
Yeah, but the worst part is, you know, I want to break the camera. But
I mean, like you're saying, you know, David was saying in the locker room after a losing game, what happens? What if there's one person who loses the game, you know? Well, what happens in the locker room? Does the coach berate the person, say,
No. It's not that way at all. I mean, sometimes, you know, if a guy accidentally misses the ball, or if he accidentally drops the ball or something, and the other team wins, I mean, you know, he's going to feel bad about it, but you're not going to condemn him you know, completely over that one play, you know.
Okay.
I mean, Bill Buckner, I'll bet, did.
Oh yeah, but there's, you know, I mean, sometimes that happens, you know. You know, I mean, you don't. You know, I mean, guys will get, you know, get pissed off. I mean, and get mad about stuff. But you know, you can't get, you can't get too. I mean, you're gonna think about it, but then you tell, like the coach usually tell them, shake it off, and then you know you come back next time, and then.
Yeah, but do they mean it though?
Most of the time they do. Our coaching staff, our guys really do a great job. Our guys are from all over the area, and you know, they really do a fantastic job.
So they rally behind that player in the player's time of sadness, and the player's time of feeling like they've let the entire team down.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah, you know, so, I mean, you don't want to have, you don't want to be going home and think about it all the way home and then, you know, okay, you know, I lost the game, but, you know, you really don't want to, you know, okay, you had a bad outing, you shake it up, and next time around, you do better.
So the focus could be on that player and, you know, making sure that they understand that you still feel good about them.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Any injuries? I mean, have you seen anyone?
I've seen, we had a lot of injuries over the years. I've seen guys get, broke a leg. I've seen guys get, you know, bust an arm or something. You know. I mean, I've done WestCon sports over the years, you know, and I've taped. Well, I started taping their games back 1990. I started taping some of the WestCon games, the girls' games, because my dad was working at WestCon at that time, and so I started taping those, and you know, and girls' basketball, men's basketball. I mean, it can be a really fast-paced game.
Right.
Now that begs the question: the comparison between women's sports and men's sports.
Yeah.
Compare.
Women's sports can go. Sometimes they can be as dominant as a man's sport. I mean, the games can go as fast as possible, and there's just look at UConn. Look at UConn.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, look how much they're undefeated. 70-some games.
I know.
They could probably whoop ass in a lot of men's teams.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I bet you they could.
Much better than the men's.
Yeah.
And I like women's basketball better because you don't see them dunk. There's none of that glamour of the dunk.
Right.
But there's there's a lot more passing. It's more like men's basketball used to be back in the Boston Celtics where the
Right.
Okay, we've got about 30 seconds left. Finish up one quick story, one highlight.
Any crazy streakers, crazy sports stories?
No, there's nothing super crazy like that.
Come on, there must have been somebody.
Nothing I can think of right now. But
okay, we'll save that for off camera after the show.
Okay.
I'm sure you'll think of something. But this has been Progressive Soup. I'm David Stevenson. My co-host Emily Volpentesta and Bob Brought Jr. telling us some great stories about the Westerners and Danbury Fair Mall and a lot of great things. Thanks for joining us.